Despite the temporary relocation of Abdusalam Abubakar, commander of Operation Safe Haven OPSH in Plateau, to Mangu, local government area of the state, killing and destruction of properties is yet to abate. Sequel to the killings that have continued in some communities in Plateau State, where 19 people were killed on Saturday and Sunday. In Jos South and Mangu local government areas of the state, lawmakers from the state have risen up for the challenge of ensuring that lasting peace returns to the state. Recently, the member representing Jos South and Jos East constituency in the House of Representatives, Dachung Bagos, urged residents to defend themselves, insisting it was constitutional to do so. Joining in lending his voice to the cause of curbing insecurity in Plateau State is Air Vice Marshal Napoleon Bali, retired, the senator representing Plateau South Senatorial District at the National Assembly. He joins us now from our Abuja studio. Good morning, Air Vice Marshal Napoleon Bali. Thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, our viewers.
Well, killings continuing unabated in Plateau State, in Mangu local government area and elsewhere. In Mangu local government area alone, 500 farmers were killed. Almost analogous to what we hear of in other parts of the country. Elsewhere, in other parts of the country, particularly the Southeast, lawmakers at the National Assembly are saying, oh, we have to get involved in this. So, number one, what are the representatives, the National Assembly representatives of the people of Plateau State, what are they doing? And do you agree with the representative in the House of Reps saying that the people can take the law into their hands and fight back, and that it is constitutional to do so? Well, I doubt if there is anything like self-help in the 1999 Constitution. But do you agree with him?
This is not a debate. You know fully well, self-help anywhere is not allowed. But like you rightly pointed out, I don't want to take issues with Honorable Bagos, but definitely I, being a retired general, I will never support self-help. But the government must up their game.
Okay, but is there any effort on the part of the lawmakers from Plateau State at the national level trying to address this, continuing problem in your state?
Yes. You see, the issue of insecurity in Plateau State, and then recently now to be specific, Mangu and Riom. You see, all along it has been headers, farmers, clashes, then banditry. But I can tell you fully, and you can invite the governor, the threat to make Plateau State ungovernable for him, he personally confided in me some months ago. I thought it was a joke. Because if you look at the insecurity in Plateau State, generally, Mangu somehow has survived all these years. Because if you check from Bassa, Riom, then Barakin Ladi, Mangu jumped, and then you see you are in Bokos. All along, Mangu has been enjoying some relative peace. And then suddenly, Governor Caleb Boutfang, who is from Mangu local government, becoming a governor elected on the plateau, then suddenly the people of Mangu are now having all these problems. So I can tell you that the issue of Mangu, the killing, and the persistent killing in Mangu, there is some political, kind of like, it's a little bit, there is some politics in there. Because the governor was threatened, and you as journalists, you can take it up with him. I think he has some suspects, and at the appropriate time, if Mr. President orders him, he will be able to tell the security chiefs those he is suspecting. So what the people of Mangu are going through, honestly, is very unfortunate. They are going through, despite the relocation of Abubakar to Mangu local government, is commendable. Because this is how I know fully well the Chief of Army Staff, General Lagbaja, was doing when all this persistent killing were happening in Birnin when he was in GOC. So going there is definitely going to boost the troops. But at the end of it all, honestly, the governor has to be helped, because with the renewed hope of Mr. President, President Bola Tinubu, honestly, the people of Mangu are living, you are not sure whether you wake up alive the next day. So what I know, about 2 weeks ago, before the changes of the service chiefs, I know the governor, Barrister Kale Butfan, was in Abuja here, trying to see the former Inspector General of Police to tell him exactly what was going on. He was in Abuja here for over 3 days. I think he barely saw the former IG for just maybe some few hours before he had to rush back to Plateau. So I think for us to checkmate this politically instigated killing in Mangu, honestly, our president needs to be involved, in the sense that he cannot be everywhere, like we all know. But he has to direct the Office of the National Security Advisor, that is the NSA himself. Because militarily, they can use force. And I tell you, these non-state actors, especially the ones that are politically motivated, they have the time and space. They will run away, melt into the society, and then they will resurface.
Okay, so let's go back to the violence that has happened over the years on the Plateau. And it's a good thing you talked about Mangu, and the question is, why Mangu now? Because hitherto, it used to be Riom. Then we had issues around Bassa, the Irigwe people, and all of that. And now Mangu, which pretty much started in April, just before the elections. And pretty much, which started in April. And once the governor was elected, I remember one of the first interviews he granted the press, he talked about all of these things you said, that there were attempts to make his government ungovernable, and he raised alarm, but obviously nobody heard. And now, Mangu is attacked. I hear, after Bokos, correct me if I'm wrong, that Mangu is about the second largest producer of potato in Jos, in Plateau State. Today, most of those potato farmers are displaced. Can you speak to the pain on the livelihoods of people in Mangu?
Honestly, it's hopelessness. This is why I am pleading with Mr. President, honestly, to direct the National Security Advisor to invite the governor. Because, you see, like you rightly pointed out, immediately INEC declared Caleb Butfang, Barrister Caleb Butfang, the governor of Plateau State, elected. Like you rightly pointed out, like I said, he confided in me. So now we should be talking about solutions. The headers, farmers clashes, the security agencies can always handle that with the traditional rulers. But the politically instigated honestly, like I said, Mr. President cannot be everywhere. But he has to direct the National Security Advisor, SSS, and probably the CDS to come into this. Let us actually find out, because like I said, I guess very well that the governor most likely will be suspecting some people that are behind this thing. In fact, it might interest you, even just last week, this is the only governor that is being harassed. As if it is only Plateau State that is in an opposition state. No. Those who lost election, they are already in tribunal. Why don't you wait for the tribunals to pass their verdict? So this governor, as far as I'm concerned, in my personal opinion, he is being harassed by some political bigwigs, parading themselves under the shadow of a federal might.
Who are these people? Who are these people?
And you are right that Mangu is the next. Like I said, you can, of course, he can never be mentioned in public. And I can tell you, if the governor is invited by the appropriate security agencies, mind you, I tell you, he is only suspecting from what he told me informally.
Well, you've talked about...
He will be able to suspect those who are doing this.
You've talked about the governor suspecting some people. You've talked about the attacks being politically motivated. But the denominational church leaders, Christian leaders, and spiritual fathers in Plateau State, they themselves, they've issued a statement saying that this is an act of genocide specifically targeted at Christians. Do you think that there is strong evidence in that regard, or that the leaders of the interdenominational churches are lying? Or do you think this is, again, possibly about ethnicity?
Well, I will dwell more on the ethnicity, because the issue of religion, I will not want to go into it, because like I told you, I'm from the southern Plateau, and I know Wase, which is predominantly, we have Muslims there, they have also been attacked. They've been chased out of their farmlands. So the issue of religion, I don't want to join issues on that. But definitely, we have a problem. And what is the solution? The solution is that the governor needs to be encouraged, invited to sit down and talk, so that we can now be battling with this issue of herders, farmers clashing. Like I said, the problem in Plateau is kind of like is on two faces. The politically motivated, and most of these people, those who survive all those attacks, said the kind of languages those attackers are using, neither Hausa nor English. So that means somebody is inviting these people from somewhere. And how do we go about this? There has to be some early warning, which I will encourage the Plateau State government to buy trailers and send them to some of these villages, because most of these attackers, they will pass through one place before going to their targets. So I think the solution is that while the government will try to do their own, it will only just bring in some kind of small respite at the end of it all. The politically instigated violence, as we suspect, can only be solved by politicians.
Okay, let's talk about response time. The last attack was in a village that is 30 minutes away drive from Mangu, because Mangu itself is the local government headquarters, which is a big place itself. But the attacks happen in adjoining villages about 30 minutes drive. You talked about early warning signs. How can we get the officers, the military officers or the police officers, to be able to respond on time to these attacks, since they are just like 30 minutes away?
Yeah, it all depends on when the appropriate security personnel are informed. Like you know, the network generally in Nigeria is a little bit challenging, especially in those rural areas. Like I said, remember that these attackers, I've always said it, most times they will rehearse on what they're supposed to do in the night. So, you see, once you already allow them the space in the night to rehearse what they are doing, I can bet you, even with the GOC right inside Mangu there, you see, there's something about precision when you want to attack your target in military circle. If you rehearse very well, you go in, you check the possible lines of operation where there will be obstacle, you will rehearse how to kind of like respond to those obstacles. You go in, achieve your target, God forbid, and then they will leave. So the issue of response time, yes, it might be challenging, but I think that with the GOC going there, the response time, I think it's going to be a little bit quicker. But like I said, how long will the GOC remain there? Because these non-state actors have the time and the space. As it is now, they can melt into the society in the daytime, in the night they regroup, and they all know, because like this crop of service chiefs, they know that the Air Force, like the current Chief of Air Staff, they know how to employ air power very well in those kind of places. So I will encourage and I will request, deploy more helicopters and surveillance aircraft to those areas. And then with the human intelligence of early warning signal, I believe the peace over Mangu and the surrounding local government areas will be a little bit sustained. But at the end of it all, let we politicians be sincere to ourselves and allow the soul of Plateau to have some peace.
Okay, we've talked about Plateau State. You've talked about politics, deployment of early intelligence, paying attention to early warning signals. But if we go beyond Plateau, President Tinubu has been talking about security. He's asking for synergy. He's asking the service chiefs to move very quickly. What are those specific missing links that you think that President Tinubu should pay attention to, briefly, as we begin to wrap up?
Okay, one, he should direct all security personnel to find a way of how training to operate more in the night. Because, like I've always said, the non-state actors are always more active in the night. Secondly, I know the last regime has tried to intensify more recruitment. Last time I was here, I told you we need more troops on ground. No matter how you flush out these people, if you don't have more troops to dominate these areas, they will always still come back. So the second one is, let's redouble our efforts in recruitment and retraining, and then buy the appropriate equipment. Like I told you, we need to get a lot of helicopters, because hardly can you see these people cluster maybe about 500 to 1,000 in one place. They have changed tactics, moving in pockets and having a field day in the forest in the night. So we must encourage our security forces to start operating more in the night.
Okay. Thank you very much, General. Thank you.
Thank you.